I'm at my syndicate today. It's Hollybush Syndicate in Aldershot. Been a member of this syndicate now for 3 years. 3 years ago is when I finished on Frimley and I came over to here. One of my friends, Tim, was the head bailiff for here, so I was quite lucky. I had to do a winter ticket, then got onto the spring ticket to get on there on a full yearly ticket. I particularly joined this lake for one fish, pretty much. There's quite a few lovely fish in here, but there's one fish that is like the king of the lake, and that is a fish called drop scale. Now, drop scale is it's drop scale linear. It's virtual linear. There's a couple of gaps in it, but I class it as a linear, and it's around mid-40s. And this year, at the time of year I was fishing for it, in April, it should have been a little bit more, which it was when I caught it. I was very lucky to catch that fish. We almost lost the rights to this lake last year when the owner was going to sell it and do his own thing, do a holiday park thing on it, but we managed to scrape another year out of this, so it was my last chance to catch this fish. A few of my pals have had it, but I'd never had it, and it is really something that got under my skin to catch this fish. This swim's called the Fridge. Definitely my favourite swim, but if they're not here, but we're fishing it, you know when they're here because you'll see them here and there'll be lots of them. I've had quite a lot of fish from this swim, and I think only 2 of them have been under £30, 29 and the 26 I think. They're always big fish in this one. It's nearly always gone this, but I'm quite lucky to come down to the lake today and it's completely empty. It's been shut for 2 weeks, spawning, and you can tell they've not been fished for 2 weeks because they are literally everywhere, but just not in here. So no matter how much I want to get into the swim and fish it, if they're not here, people, don't fish for them. Don't go for your favourite swim if they're not in here. I've seen them in 2 areas at the end of this wind. This lake's like a horseshoe. Like one lake, just pick one or pick 2, but joined by a channel. And just as I say that, there was one. So we're going to stand in here for another 20 minutes, half an hour. If I see any more, then I might come in here. The wind's against this swim, to be fair. Like I say, both the wind's pushing up there on the southwesterly, so both the dam, the chalk wall, and the other side in the shallows, some fish there. You know, more than that single one there. That might just be a straggler. You'll know they're here because you'll start seeing them. It's still early in the morning, so they should be showing themselves if they are here. Now, with a particular fish, it is quite habitual. It does come out in particular areas of the lake at particular times of the year. Now, I knew it would do a capture in the spring, April, start of May, at this end here on a chalk wall, deeper water off a particular area. It comes out of 1 or 2 swims. So I was quite lucky to be able to get into a swim. It was my 2nd session of the year. The area that we fish has been fished for a long time, so it's quite a big blatant area. It's quite a big spot, so we're only allowed 2 rods on here now. So my right hand rod was in the middle of the spot for nice big bright pop up. So a wary fish coming in would signal that as maybe a danger spot. But I put my left hand rod on a small little sort of dull down pop up at the back of the spot in the soft, just round the back. Now, when we've watched this, when this fish comes out of the water, you can tell what it is. It's really long, jet black. It's a linear. When it end shoulders up to the wrist, you can see what fish it is, and we often see it coming from round an island, down the pin and towards me like this. So I knew I was in the right sort of patrol route to try and catch this, and at the right time of year. It was the start of a 3-night session. First night, got the rods out. The rods were sitting there at the bite time in the swim was any time from about 8:30 to about 11:30. I was sitting down there with my pal, we were having a cup of tea, left hand rods pulled up tight, hit, and I've struck into it. Instantly it's off. You know, it is known to fight quite well, so it's off down the lake, and I was back winding. Managed to get over 1 weed bed. It was in 1 weed bed, but I managed to walk it out of that one, walked it out of that, walked it down, and it flapped about 30 yards out, and it looked like to be fair, it looked like a little common. So the sort of the way I played it changed a little bit. I got a little bit more sort of, you know, a bit quicker and a bit harder with playing the fish. Went into another weed bed, got it out of that, And as I got it out of that, it was a lump of weed, and my lead core was coming down. I could see a lump of weed, and the lump of weed was skimming across the surface, you know, like you pulled out of a fish. And I was just reeling it in, and I was just thinking to myself, this is not on here. And I almost dropped the rod in devastation, knowing that it was a good fish, not knowing exactly what it was, but knowing it was a good one, and it was my first fish of the year, so it was one I really wanted. Despite what it was, I mean, there's loads of good ones in it. There's a couple of 40s, some upper 30s, but they're all real dark, quality old fish, you know, so everyone in is a prize. You don't want to lose any of them. And I'd say the weed was skimming across the surface, so I thought it had gone, you know. I could see that the swivel, the lead core going straight down to the weed, and the weed was moving a bit too quickly for there to be a fish underneath there. But my mate Ian said, I'm just going to net it, keep it coming, I'll net it anyway. We netted it, and he said, oh no, there is a fish in there. And we looked and thought, oh, and I saw a little tail. Now this fish has got a reasonably small tail, but I just thought, being a small tail, and the way it came in, it flapped, it looked like a common, I thought it was a mid-20. I pulled the weed apart and I looked down and I saw the 2 big drop scales down. I looked at him and I almost welled up. I said, I know what this is. This is the fish. This is the one I'm after. And the elation overtook me, you know, with the feeling when you've been after something for a while and you've put all your heart and soul into it and you finally get it. And it was a beautiful summer's morning. The fishery manager was just passing at the time, so I've whistled him. He's come over and he goes, oh, you got one? And I said, no, I have got the one. So we was elated as well because it's the first time this fish come out. Because the lake had changed hands a bit, you know, you get rumours, oh, the fish still in there, this, that and the other, and he was ecstatic to know, to show people, look, no, the big one is still in there, all the rumours about it not, or being taken out and all that was rubbish. The lake's exactly like it was, a gem, like it was the previous years I've been fishing it. And there it was in the net, you know, it was a drop scale linear, and there's 2 of us that weighed it, me and Ian. Ian's an old bailiff friend of mine from Frimley Pit 3. We popped it up on the scales and it read off as 47.6, which was a mind blower. It looked it all day long. It was huge, immaculate. A fish that comes out maybe 3 times a year and has done for its life scale. You'd expect the mouth was not damaged at all. It was lovely, it was perfect. You'll see in the photographs the little bit of video footage I've got of it. Obviously when you're doing video footage of a fish like this, the moment takes over, so I didn't get loads and loads of footage of it, but the photographs were awesome. You'll see by the photographs what sort of caliber fish this is. It's one that everyone on the lake is after, this particular fish.
Oh, she looks all of 45, I'd say.
Yeah.
But...
I look 40 or 12, I think, I can't remember.
Moment of truth. What we got, Rick?
You've got a late record here, mate.
Oh, you can take the reading, mate.
47.6.
6, I'll give you.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a
Well
record.
done, mate. That's Hollybush record, mate. Top man. Banging.
First one of the year. I can't believe it.
You're on the ground, isn't it?
Oh. This is what carp fishing moments are all about.
Isn't she just?
I haven't had a moment like this for a while. Immaculate.
I still can't believe how easy it coming with that weed on its head. It's fucking mental. No leeches either, is there?
Do you know what? She's been moving. There ain't no in the mouth either. Nah, she's been moving around.
Oh, there's one there. There's one there.
A bit of water on her, Rick.
What a fish.
Oh, yeah, there she is. Lovely, Rick. Well done, mate.
For me, it's the one. It's the one of the nicest fish I've caught, and I've always wanted a 40-pound linear. I've caught loads, being a Frimley angler, I've caught loads of 40-pound commons and other fish, you know, not blowing my own trumpet, I've caught loads, but the only one I really wanted was a 40-pound linear, and it was there sitting in the net. So, and it was a complex record as well. This complex, there's 5 lakes on here. You've got pit 1 and 2, which are these ones I'm fishing now, which this particular fish is in, but they're joined together by a little channel. So it's all one lake, but it's called pit 1 and 2. These are on a separate ticket now. This is the new way things are run. So these are on a separate ticket. Behind this fence here, it's the old Owl Syndicate, which is pit 5, the one that Mickey Gray talks about in his book. So that's a seriously special water, but there's no fishing on it now, just a couple of bays to have a little dabble. And one at the front, pit 3. Pit 4 is a little holding pond where if we get old, some of these fish are really, really old, 56 years old. So when they get caught a bit too much and they're looking towards the end of their life expectancy and they're slipping up a little bit too much, they get retired off into there. So that's little holding ponds. But this is 1 and 2. This is the one where it is. There's loads of good fish in there, you know. In this little segment, I might drop up a couple of photographs of some of the other sort of prizes that are in there. Not all huge. I mean, I had one the other day, it was £25. It was jet black, but it wasn't the size. I'd take that over a big pale, big and all day long, you know. So yeah, it all came about, and it's quite lucky because this might be our last year on here. So it came just in time. Now I knew this fish was going to come for that area. I was lucky enough to fish that area, and lucky enough to get the bite from the fish I wanted. You know, all plans came together. And like I say, when we popped it out, put it on the scales, 47.6, which was a colossal carp, I think you'll agree. And when you see it, I think you'll understand. In the heat of the summer, it doesn't even get darker. So it was the start of the year, so sometimes the fish are just a little bit paler. It's still of mahogany and it's still real nice. But to be fair with you, I don't care what it looks like at any time of the year. The fish is what it is, and it is an absolute prize. And I think you'll agree when you see it that it is something a little bit special. And it's always nice when you get the big one at the first fish of the season. Your rest of your season is more of a relax, which is a good job because I'm here with a team now, and we've just done a 2-night session, and I've done a few nights in this swim, and in the same swim binding I've had the linear from, and I've come unstuck a few times. You know, I've not had any bites. I'm questioning myself a little bit, but this morning I finally got the bite. And lo and behold, typical carp angling, everything was there, cameras all ready, and it popped out, lost it at the net. Looked half decent common, but that's fishing for you. But like I say, after catching a fish like I have done, the drop scale linear, everything else just drops into comparison with it, because it doesn't really matter, because I will keep fishing it because it's a reasonably expensive ticket, and there's a few other fish, and there's a fish here called Mabel, which looks a lot like this, a little bit smaller, but it's around the £40 mark, and that's another price. So I am still, and I know that comes from the same sort of area, so that's why I've been concentrating on the same sort of way to catch that fish. But generally speaking, you know, elated to catch it, and as you say, it was job done.
Get a little look before she goes away. Horrible shadow. Right away, we're going to have a sub. Well done, mate. Good man. Top stuff, bro.